Thank you for that warm welcome. Before I begin, I want to say one specific thing, and that is the story that I'm about to tell you is very near and dear to my heart. And so if I become teary-eyed or choked up, I hope that you all as an audience will give me some grace in that moment, because I might need it. The dust swirled as the wind whipped it past our faces, and when the grit landed against our cheeks, it stung like being slapped with sandpaper. The smell was strong, and the gust wafted it past our noses and away from its source, an impoverished village miles outside of Cambodia's capital, Phnom Penh. We were a small healthcare mission team from Belmont University, working with Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope, an organization with which Belmont has partnered for nearly 10 years to provide sustainable community healthcare and education to local nurses. There are certain concepts that words, no matter the language, fall short of describing. Poverty is one of these things, and this community was extremely poor. The village itself was constructed above open sewage, and the homes were built of trash. As we made our way into the village, we navigated through the buildings and into a dimly lit home where the sunlight stretched through cracks in wooden walls, illuminating clusters of dancing mosquitoes. In the home sat a man with one of his 4 young children on his lap. She stared with large brown eyes and sat quietly as her father began talking about his troubles, the food he could not buy, a disease he could not manage, and children for which he could not care. Here he paused, and lines of sorrow made dark rivers across his smooth face. His wife had died nearly 10 days before we had arrived. Lung cancer had taken her and left him a widow and her children motherless. I'm still not sure if it's possible to have a heart that is both softened but also grows bitter at the same time. But this is how I felt and still felt. Perhaps here again, words fall short of description. I was angry with everything in front of me. The poverty, the disparity, the disease, the sorrow, the realness of this woman's death, and even God. I could not fathom how God would desert these people. But somehow it seemed that God had forgotten about a man and his small children in a dusty village in Cambodia. I left the village the same way I came. But as I watched a rainstorm creep into the countryside, settle the dust and stifle the smell, I began praying. I realized God had not forgotten this village. He had sent help, and we were his help. We brought food, we listened to this man's sorrow, and we created a relationship to keep coming back to this man and his family. My Belmont experience led me to the other side of the world to serve others through my passion and calling of nursing. No, God had not forgotten anything. He had placed me at a university that provided me with education about health disparities within the world in which we live, preparing me both academically and professionally. We were told on our first day at Belmont that our education and our purpose are not about us. They're about serving others. As Belmont graduates, we have a responsibility to continue to maintain the mission of engaging and transforming the world and leaving a legacy for the students who may follow behind us. Throughout our Belmont experiences, many of us have had our faith strengthened. But when I reflect back on my own experiences, I realize that my time here showed me who I am. I am the Lord's hands, and I'm ready to serve. Thank you.